Welcome back, everybody. My name's APrater54, aka Adam, coaching the Chesney Park Slowpokes, and today I bring you the Season 3 Draft Analysis for SDA Association, Upload Required Division, aka Latios. For those of you, you have already by now seen the draft recap stream, but we each are, while it's optional, we are each going to do our own draft analysis, and we're going to sit back, have fun, and see what the coaches have to say about their teams. In the link of the description below, there is going to be a paste spin of all of the other coaches, as well as the SDA Association channel, where you can check out weekly power rankings, and other fun stuff that Absolute 76 is doing for the league. Without further ado, the way this season worked is we split the draft into two different sets of 8. Because having all 16 coaches on one board would have been stretching the teams too thin, but there would have been a little bit of diversity of people making low tiers excel, but we decided to have more fun, more chaos, and split each other into 8s. And the way it breaks down is we get 110 points, 9 to 11 Pokemon, 1 to 3 Terra Captains, but they can't exceed 25 points. I happen to be in the Violet draft and 5th pick overall. As far as bans in this league, the only thing that is banned is Fluttermane, Bright Powder, Lax Incense, King Rock, and I believe it's Razor Claws, the one that makes you flinch, and the evasion abilities like Sandveil and Snowcloak. We made Shedtail legal. Houndstone can have Last Respect, but it becomes as a it's pretty expensive. So if you want to run that, better do a hefty budget plan. But we also banned Revival, Blessing, and we figured, why not? Phalanx, let it have no retreat. What exactly is it going to do this gen when everything can counter with Terra? Let's find out. And we also, well, because it's banned Smogon Claws wise, Moody is banned as well. So Glalie and Scovillian can't run that. So that'll be interesting. In this league, it's Dry Pass only for Baton Pass, with the exception of if your opponent forces a negative stat on you and you pass it, like say you come onto Sticky Webs, it is not going to be a Baton Pass violation because you did not intentionally set the boost yourself. Same thing on if, say for example, your opponent flatters you and then you pass the stat, that is not your intentional setup. So I'm doing a little bit of leeway with that, but anything else is Dry Pass only. But you can Wish Pass. There have been several questions about that. So, with that being said, let's hop on into this, and let's see what I've got in store for you all today. Round 1, I took Dragonite. Oh, I also failed to mention that it's a 1 to 17 point scale, and 14 to 17 point mons cannot Terra. So Dragonite here cannot be a Terra Captain. Granted, I'm taking a little bit of a nerf not being able to do that, but it's fine because I can still Dragon Dance, hit extreme speed. It's not going to do as much damage as Terra Normal, but that is fine. You have a Mon that gets access to moves like Wrap, Encore, Fire Spin to be able to answer bulky stall Mons, or just prevent things from setting up in your face by clicking them into Encore is absolutely really good. Like, for example, Dondozo. Sets up curse in front of you. Alright. Encore. Now you're stuck. Wrap. Now you're stuck. Now I'm just hitting you for damage. Especially, I can hit you for special damage. Can you do much? Probably not. But overall, Dragonite hits so hard offensive-wise. Granted, it's base 80 speed, but when it's got access to moves like Earthquake, Iron Head, Brick Break, Thunder Punch, Waterfall, Aqua Jet, Extreme Speed, Outrage, Dragon Rush, you name it. This even gets access to a wide variety of special moves. But yeah. Like, this is the daddy of the team, basically. This is Papa Dragonite. So, he's going to just be a jolly good Papa. And we are going to hop on into a round number 2. I took Great Tusk. This Mon is incredibly fat, just like Dragonite. Possibly even fatter defensive-wise. This Mon is times 4 resistant to rocks. Like, it comes in on stealth rocks and you don't even see the health bar move. That's nuts. And it also gets Protosynthesis, so in Sun it can get its most inherent stat boosted by either Sun or by Booster Energy, which is really cool. This gets access to Knockoff, which is very valuable. Rapid Spin for hazard removal. Gets access to moves like Play Rough, Close Combat, Headlong Rush, which is a fighting close combat. Actually, no, I think it's ground. But this also does get close combat. But this thing just hits like a truck, and it is just fat. Granted, it could have a little bit better of a special defense. But hey, it tanks hits. It's here to punish, set rocks, get rid of rocks, and just say goodbye to your items. But for the sake of some of the people out there, there are some people that like to call this Mon Daddy. Bread? I had to include this. Like, there are 10 people at most I know that when they see Great Tusk, they see Daddy. And that's interesting for the Pokemon community. But without further ado, I'm going to re-hide that image so people aren't traumatized. But back to the regular Great Tusk. But overall, this is a phenomenal Mon, and I can't wait to finally use this. I've been in 9 drafts so far in Gen 9, and I've been sniped with this every single time. And I look forward to using it. Without further ado, let's hop into round 3. I'm testing out Hisuian Zoroark, which can be very, very nasty. Like, this does everything Zoroark wants to do, but better. 3 immunities, 1 weakness, and that is Dark. But you can't freely swing a Dark move because then you get walled by Great Tusk. So I could either be Great Tusk in disguise, Dragonite in disguise, anything on my team in disguise, and you have to play, am I real or am I fake? I believe this still gets knockoff. This gained Icy Wind, so dragons can actually just get murked by this. Especially if you're a Mon like Noivern or, well, I already have Dragonite. You step into an Icy Wind and bye-bye. I want to name this thing after Rhea Ripley so bad because all I see is mommy. I'm sorry, I'm a huge WWE fan. Dragonite reminds me of Nick Foley. Great Tusk reminds me of, God, I can't remember what that... Oh, Macho Man Randy Savage, and then we've got Mommy, Rhea Ripley. So, yeah, this also gets access to Will-O-Wisp, which is very nasty, and it has a signature move called Bitter Malice that guarantees lowers their attack by 1. So you can just fire this off and just completely nerf damage. And if they launch a fire, normal, or anything you're immune to into this, and it's just free. It's so good. But without further ado, let's get off mommy for a second and go to Azu. I love Azumarill. Granted, I sniped my wife, but unintentionally because I can't read. She's gonna rant about that in her draft analysis. But 13-point Azu is just so much fun. It is eligible to be a Terra Captain if I go that far, and I might have found like the most adorable photo of it. Yeah. If I had to see anything with this mon, it reminds me of Alexa Bliss because it's adorable. Don't ask why, but it does. But this is the little baby of the family. Well, toddler, because it's only like 3 feet tall. Not even. But with access to huge power, Sap Sipper, and Thick Fat to protect Dragonite and Great Tusk, is absolutely amazing. And it gets access to Belly Drum and Aqua Jet. +6 Aqua Jet has limited switch-ins. There are like a select few electric types that will resist the Aqua Jet. Even some of the grass types don't want to take an Aqua Jet if they've already been chipped. And the slower ones that don't want to take a Play Rough to the face. Overall, Azu is a bulky little mon. And she's just adorable. And now, we get to round 5. I finally got King Gambit. Granted, I can't Terra, but I want to see what the hype is about Bisharp on steroids, aka Supreme Overlord. This is the grouchy uncle of the family, and also the control freak. But I will say one thing in mind, this thing is fat. Even though it's ×4 weak to fighting, what are you punching this thing with, realistically? Like, I forced my opponent to run fighting coverage. Alright, so if this thing actually is Zoroark, what are you doing? Swinging into nothing. This also gets access to Supreme Overlord, which is a 10% buff to damage per fainted ally. This gets access to Pressure, which makes them consume 2 PP. And this gets access to Defiant. This deters my opponent from wanting to click Defog, wanting to prevent it from bringing a Intimidate Mon. Otherwise, I get boosted. This also gets access to Sucker Punch, Iron Defense, Stealth Rocks, so this is my second rocker. Granted, I probably won't run rocks on it, because I'm just going to be very offensive with it. But, yeah, overall it's a good mod, and you know what also they say about King Gambit? Yeah, I'm gonna just let that marinate and wonder why the internet is a interesting place. So, yeah. Why does something that sits on a tear all the time have cheeks? And this is Uncle Thickums. And we hide that, and we go on to round 6. We've got Cinderace. This is my first time drafting Cinderace in singles. Before, it was mostly in doubles, back when it was a G-Max league, and it was fun. Cinderace being incredibly fast at 119 speed with access to Libero is pretty fun. But granted, it lost its... well, it got nerfed. It only changes it the first time it's in. But the difference with Cinderace compared to the others is if it... say it Pyro Balls first, Libero doesn't activate. It has to click something of a different type move, which some people forget. So you have to click U-turn to become Bug. You have to click Court Change to swap hazards with your opponent to become normal type. This can run Flame Orb Facade after an SD and just be incredibly annoying and just make itself only weak to fighting. But yeah, this thing is incredibly fast. I believe my fastest mod on the team. So we'll see what's going on with that and how useful I am with it. But Pyro Ball, especially if I hit set Sun, is going to be incredibly broken. And it also will boost Great Tusk's Protosynthesis. It'll also increase Zoroark's Flamethrower. But, yeah. Overall, an incredibly good mod. Incredibly offensive, too. And I look forward to using this. I have Red Boot in CPL. And I just run Life Orb, Flare Blitz, and just break teams until I die. All my deaths in that league are from Life Orb, which is kind of funny. But that's Cinderace. That's my secondary form of hazard removal. And then we get into round 7. We have Serena. Yeah, basically there's a, I traumatized people when I was drafting. I don't want to put it on the screen. But basically there's a, DeviantArt of Serena where it's a dominatrix. Yeah, you can see why that's not up on the screen, because nobody needs to see yeah. But Serena is thick. For a pure grass type, she can chew hits, both on the physical and the special side, and she has access to Synthesis. And you have access to Rapid Spin as well. You can remove hazards, which is very good in this meta. This can run an Assault Vest and tank things for days, run U-turn and pivot out, allowing me to get momentum into my other Pokemon. This can also allow me to sponge damage, force a switch out, and then try and predict a double. Serena's here just to be, well, what she is. Thick. But yeah. That's Serena. And then we get into round 8. Luxray. aka Escanor. Because who doesn't like a lion's pride? Luxray got a massive boost this gen. Not only does it have guts, still, but it gets access to being able to Terra, and it gets access to Trailblaze, which is a way to boost its speed. And now you have Facade, Crunch, Play Rough, Fire Fang, Psychic Fangs, and Wild Charge just hitting at +1 speed. Absolutely amazing. For a 4-point mon, I hope to have a lot of fun with this, and hopefully just break through teams, because Guts overrides Unaware. And there's a few of those running around in Skeledirge, Stunzozo, and Clodsire that I can just Crunch, Wild Charge, Facade, and Terra Blast Grass to Oblivion. If I so choose that route. But yes, that's Luxray. Oh, it also gets access to Intimidate, which can also be beneficial in some matchups that I don't need Guts. And it gets access to Status Cripple. So, 1 week I could be Guts, 1 week I could be Intimidate. And I believe it gets Rivalry as well, which is kind of meh. But anyways, on to the next mon. We've got the agent himself, Spidops. Master of Stealth, Hazards, and according to some DeviantArt, ensnaring children. Which, we're not gonna go that route. Spite Ups, buddy, I look to use you this time. You get webs, spikes, T-spikes. You get circle throw to bounce your opponent. You get first impression with the ability stakeout. So if they switch, they take double damage. Overall, you're not the fastest, but you are bulky for a pure bug type. Granted, at first you weren't the best shiny, but I ended up falling in love with this shiny because it just reminds me of a fishing lure with arms and with arms. Like, you took half of a spider, half of a bobber, and you put it together and called it a day. Kind of creative, Game Freak. But yeah, Spite Ups is a little bulky boy. He's here for webs, to just make things easier on my team. And he's just here to just be annoying. But yeah, that's Agent Spite Ups, or Grumpy Pervy Stage, whatever you want to call him. Thank you, SDA, for calling him Pervy Stage. And now we have slide 10. Oricorio was still there. In this league, you get all 4 of them. So not only do you get Electric Flying, Fire Flying, Psychic Flying, and Ghost Flying, but you also get all of them in one package. This gets access to Quiver Dance this gen, so it's able to set up its speed, special attack, and spadef, and be a little mini wall that rips things. And a cool thing is, if this ends up being your Terra Captain, Revelation Dance changes to whatever Terra type you are. So say you're the Fire Flying one. Alright, you set up. Well, then you become Terra Water. Well, now that is a Water type Revelation Dance. So, I've used it before on a Rain team. Okay, Hurricane, 100% accurate. Terra Water, boosted by the rain, is absolutely nuts. But if they're not Terra, the Revelation Dance is whatever typing they are. So you have Electric, Fire, Psychic, and Ghost when you lock into those. So this makes your opponent do additional prep, which is kind of neat. And this also gets Defog. So now I have 1, 2, 3, and technically 4 hazard removal, because Court Chains technically removes from my side. And I'm the type of player that prioritizes breaking you sometime, well, most of the time, over setting hazards. Will I set them though? Yes. Will you hate me for it? Probably. But yeah, that's Oricorio. And now, oh, we got to the peaceful music just in time. I would love to introduce you to the final mon of my draft. Introducing Bob Strudel. He's painting. He tried to paint a little butterfly on a waterfall, but he's just a little toddler. You don't want to know how long it took me to find an afro that was a PNG. A lot of the things were a transparent background, so it literally had the checkered square behind it, and I got annoyed trying to remove that, and finally, 10-15 minutes later, I found one that was a PNG that I was able to just make the afro work on him. And then you got the little paintbrush over here that matches the colors on the painting, and then you got the little brush in his hand with this. But anyways, I'm getting a little bit too excited about a little 1-point mon. But it's a 1-point mon that gets not only Burden, but also gets Prankster. This little guy gets Priority Toxic, gets access to U-Turn to pivot out. It also gets access to Parting Shot. So I can, oh, and it also gets access to Encore. You set up, okay, Strudel comes in, Encore, you're locked into that setup move. You want to play again? Oh, you're switching. Toxic. Have fun. This is my grounded poison, by the way. This is how I'm removing T-Spikes. If I'm not doing a boot spawn. Am I going to enjoy using this little furball of death? Yes. Is it the best spawn in the world? No. Does my does the owner of the league absolutely hate me for drafting this thing? Maybe. He thinks Murkrow's better. Let's wrap our heads around that. Murkrow's better than Strudel. I beg to differ. Little Strudel can do things, and it will. And then we have the Terra Captains. We have Oricorio, Azu, and Luxray. Technically, I have 6 Terra Captains because you don't know what bird I'm bringing. So this is going to be fun. Can't wait to run Terra, like Terra Steel Azu, just belly jump for free. Sorry, ad started playing, so screw that. Gonna hold it now, wait for it to end. Alright, we're back. But yeah, Azu being able to defensive Terra, get a belly drum off, being able to tank a hit, set up its own speed with Trailblaze is really good. Oricorio also being able to be a defensive Terra is amazing, plus being able to do that extra coverage is really good. Luxray, same thing. Terra Grass to dodge Earthquake. Terra Flying to just be immune. Now it has flying coverage that it can use to overrun fighting and other opposing grass types. It can become Terra Ground to just murder like mons like Toxapex, fellow electric types. You name it. They can all adapt to what the matchup needs. But yeah, I hope you guys like the team. Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe and tell me what you think about it in the comments below. Whether it be negative or positive. Is there things I want to fix? Well, need to fix to clarify. Let me know. You guys have a good day. Peace.